Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse Knicks pregame show. That's right. Quis will be joining us later. Right now, I figured I might as well get going. And we have a very interesting show to look at today. We're going to look at should Quickley be the one starting instead of Evan Fournier? We're going to discuss it. There's pros and cons of both ways. Or should Quickley be kept on the bench? Should Cam get the start? Should things be left alone until Grimes gets back? So tonight's going to be a good test. The Knicks play the Charlotte Hornets, who are also 2-1. They're a scrappy team, even though they're without LaMelo and without Bridges, but they compete. And they're going to be an interesting test for the Knicks tonight. I want to welcome everybody for joining us. Thank you guys for joining us here today. And it's Wednesday, October 26th. Oh, yeah. Quis will be joining us pretty soon. Excellent. Good timing. Shout out to the chat. Hey, salute, Lex. Good to see you, brother. And let's see who we got. We got Cameron Goldberg. We got New Yorker. We got Yoali Yasharal. All right. And New Yorker with the cleanest handle there. And Paul Butler. Good to see you, brother. So I'm seeing already. Paul Butler says, leave IQ right where he is. Right there. And so does who else said that? PayPal says no, Cam should start. All right, interesting. I'd be curious to see how you guys think after we go through it. Let's see what else we got here. Cameron Goldberg says, I think leave the bench the way it is. I like Grimes, but Cam Reddish is playing so good, so why mess something up if it's going good? It's a good problem to have, though. Yes, it is. Most definitely a good problem to have. And you guys, if you haven't subscribed yet and you're watching this on replay or whatever, please do so. And also turn on the notification bell so you get alerted when we actually go live or drop a new video. And hit that thumbs up button for me. And definitely drop your comments. Love to read all the comments. And say, hey, shout out to Connor. What's up? I'm excited about tonight's game. Because I feel like we're starting to see the team beginning to evolve into what it's going to be. But it's still way too early. We're going to have to find out if the ball will keep moving, if Randall will keep the ball moving, if Brunson can still get those buckets anytime we really need one, because he's been clutch like that. It's been night and day having an actual guy running a point who can give you a bucket when you need it, and also just control the offense. It's been wonderful. But I got to say, got to shout out to Julius for running. I mean, his energy on the court has been outstanding. Are there moments there where he gets burned here and there? Of course, everybody does. It happens to everybody. But he has been active, which is important, getting over that half-court line. It does feel like, and I'm going to get into something here. We're going to join. Quis is going to join right now. What's up? Hold on. There he is.
Hey, what's up, George? How's everything? Good?
All right. What's up? Good to see you, brother.
You can hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, good. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Make it a little closer. Pause.
Yeah, things are getting tighter here in terms of scheduling for starting our pregame shows. It was a little different when I was unemployed.
I hear you on that one.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Feeling a little bit better than when I was on Sunday and Monday, so thankful for that.
Oh yeah, you had a little bit of a cold or something.
Yeah, but I'm feeling better now, so hopefully I sound better too. I listened to the Sunday stream and I was like, damn, I sound terrible.
Yeah, you sound a little congested. For sure. It must be something going around out there in the East Coast, because a couple of people that I know from New York have had colds in the past week.
Yeah.
So, Quis,
what's up?
What'd you think of that Monday game?
Monday game was dope. I mean, for the most part, everybody played pretty well. You know, Brunson was doing his thing. The only thing that really was a sore eye, I guess, is the fact that RJ really struggled to start that game, and he picked it up towards the end of the game, knocked down some, his first jump shots of the season. But you'd want to see him be a little bit better than what he was in that first half. He forced some shots up, especially that shot to end the half. I felt like he was that was definitely poor decision making on his end. Even though I know it's end of a quarter shot, end of halftime shot. and you understand that they're trying to rush it and things like that. But I felt like he had enough time to gather himself and take a much better shot that he took towards the end of that half. And then you look at guys like Immanuel Quickley. He was doing his thing. It looks like he's finally figured it out. Luckily, especially since we have a tough few games following this game against the Hornets. So for him to be doing this thing is good. What did he have? 7 assists, 7 rebounds. I think that's when Immanuel
Yeah.
Quickley is really at his best, when he's able to grab rebounds and start the fast break and find guys like Obi. You saw he actually started to look for Cam. I think his first 2 passes were to Cam, if I'm not mistaken, and then he had a third a few possessions after that for a 3. So to see Quick and Cam start to figure it out, I think that's important for that second unit, especially when we're not too certain as to when Quentin Grimes will be returning.
Yeah, and so even I believe Quickley even had reference. Was it Quickley who referenced it about there being some kind of a discussion on the internet or on Twitter?
He blocked State.
Yeah, he blocked State. That's right. That's right. But it's interesting. I am getting the feeling that the players and certain people connected with the organization, they're listening. They're listening to what we're saying, and that's a good thing because it's good for them to understand where our frustrations are coming from. It doesn't mean they have to address them the way we want them to address them, but at least if they're aware of them and they address them in some manner, then that's a plus for us. What do you think about generally overall the style of play from the whole team?
I'm loving it. We're not seeing guys dribble up the ball, as if they have, way more than 24 seconds on the shot clock to actually get a good look. And I like the fact that they're actually pushing the pace. This is what we saw from the second unit, last year, even the year before, and we were saying, why can't the starters play with this type of pace, play with this type of intensity? And with the addition of Jalen Brunson and with Thibodeau, pushing the fact that he wants the guys to get the ball up the court. I think, what was it? It was the last game, right? The third game when they were interviewing Johnny Bryant at halftime, and he was talking about how they don't do the typical 8-second backcourt violation, not backcourt violation, but over and back. Instead of doing 8 seconds, they're doing 4 seconds. So I think that's definitely showing out there on the court. And I think if they can continue to play like this, it'll be hard for opposing teams to really deal with us, when they're not able to get set in their defenses and actually get their right matchup. So if we can continue to play like this, I've been saying it time and time again, I like the players on this team, but I think there's other teams in the East that may be more talented. But if we're playing with this type of heart, this type of energy, and this type of hustle, then it's going to be difficult for teams to beat us, especially when they're coming into the Garden.
Yeah, definitely. And we know that in regular season, of course, talent matters in the regular season, but heart, commitment, being connected to each other, that matters more during the regular season. That's how you get those extra wins here and there. It's the difference between a 30-win season, and a 37-win season, because we did see the team in the second half last season when they finally started playing the kids per se. The Knicks, the team was a better team. It was a much better team. It was like one of the top defenses in the second half of the season. So those kind of things really do help you win games in the regular season. Now the postseason's a whole different story, but we won't talk about that right now.
Yeah, we got to get there first.
Yeah. I mean, it's only 3 games in.
Yeah,
man. Shout out to the chat. Give me a thumbs up for your guys here. Appreciate that.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate the support.
Absolutely. Shout out to Geraldine, Connor Tulin, Rodney Atkins. Good to see you, brother. John Jones, ESGT. What's up? Let's see. What did he say? He says, hey, George, how do you feel about the QI OB contracts? Haha, I feel you will sleep better tonight. Let's go, youth. Absolutely. Very well put, brother. In fact, let's get to that. There you go. Nick's Twitter right there. Here we are. I feel so much better now that we've exercised the options on Obi Toppin and Immanuel Quickley's contracts for year 4 and the Quentin Grimes 3rd year. I didn't think it was going to be a question mark at all, but it's nice to see that. What's your feelings about that, Quis?
I mean, it's expected. I don't think that the Knicks have seen anything in Quick and Obi that would have them say, all right, we don't want to continue to invest in your future and invest in your development. And if we didn't extend if we didn't pick up the options, then that means that we would have been giving them the opportunity to walk away for free. So I think this was just, a common sense move from the front office. They just were going through the motions. But I think if you look at what these guys have done, to start the season, I think Quick, he struggled initially, but he's starting to come around. And Obi, his shot has come and gone, but for the most part, I'm liking the energy he's bringing to that team. And with what we're paying him, for him to come off the bench, I think it's like I said, a no-brainer to pick up that contract. We just have to see if we can start getting these guys, especially Obi, a little bit more playing time so he can develop and we can get a little bit more of an understanding of what type of player he'll be in the NBA long term. But I expected these moves to be made.
Yeah, I expect them to be made as well. I just wonder, man, it's going to be an interesting season because I really think this is the season that will determine whether we end up keeping them or not. Because I don't actually see them playing next year on this team unless we've made a commitment to them longer term.
Like RJ this year.
Exactly. So this is a nice first step in that direction. Very happy about that. I'll tell you, man, our drafting has been, these are three of our guys that we've drafted actually all during the Tom Thibodeau regime, interestingly. And they've all improved over time. And, whether some could have improved a little more, that's a topic of discussion. Could they have improved quicker if they had been given more burn earlier?
No pun intended.
Yep. Exactly. No pun intended. But in general, this is a great thing. I have a couple other tweets here. The one all the way to right is the Obi one that I tweeted out. I can't remember. Was it yesterday?
About the net rating?
Yeah, the net rating. Look at that. Leads the Knicks 26.2. And he is, at the time, he was 8th highest in the NBA when I tweeted up, but turned out he was 9th highest. But I think he actually is 8th highest in the entire NBA in net rating. And this is basically, it's no surprise to us. We've been crying out for him to get more burn and to get time with Julius on the floor because he has to get on the floor. Now, last game, he only played 14 minutes. So even though it was a good game that we won, and he played very well, Obi was a key reason to why we were able to build that lead initially. And yet he sits for an additional 4 to 6 minutes that were not needed. And then what do we see with Julius? Even though everyone's like freaking out, Julius had a great game. He didn't do anything in the fourth quarter. He didn't score one. I mean, he didn't make a bucket in the fourth quarter. And why? Because he was gassed. This is the minutes issues again. The minutes allotment in the game on what was it, last Friday. That's what we wanted to see. That minutes distribution against Detroit. 20 minutes here, 24 minutes for this guy, 28 minutes for Julius. Once you start getting into 30 in the mid 30s for anybody, it's more so for guys like Julius because he's playing at a much higher pitch this year, much higher pace.
Yep.
So what's your feelings about that kind of time allotment there?
I mean, from the first game, I was a little bit confused as to what we were going to be doing with O, because remember when Julius Randle fouled out, Tibbs went and he brought in Evan Randle. He brought in Evan Fournier. So I was like, wow, you'd think that would be a moment where he could get Obi involved and we can see a little bit more of Obi. But then we saw again in that last game against the Magic, he's still relying heavily on Julius Randle at that power forward position. And I mean, he did have a solid game, so there are some reasons why you can understand why Tibbs decided to do that. But, you just hope moving forward that that's more so an exception as opposed to the rule, especially in a game where it looks like we're, pretty comfortably.
I don't know. I hope so too. I just I worry. Now that was
you're always going to worry with coaches.
I'm always going to worry, especially with Tibbs.
Yeah.
But I could see that game. I could see Tibbs wanting to do everything he could to win that Orlando game. And in his mind, everything he could meant going with my guy, Julius, who was playing very well for those first 3 quarters. Because, man, a year ago, that first game at the Garden against the Magic, that was the heart wrencher.
That's when we knew things were gonna go up. We're gonna be off the rails.
Yeah. Well,
That was the moment.
we hoped they wouldn't. You know, we had a feeling, but we kept saying, "Hey, remember that game? Remember that game?" For like months afterwards. We kept referring to that game. So I could see in Thibs' mind, he's like, you know what? I'm not going to mess around. I'm going to lock this thing down. I'm going to put the best group I can out there. And interestingly, it included Immanuel Quickley as those closing five. Brunson, it was Quickley with the starters. So Fournier played the whole third quarter, sat the whole fourth quarter, Quickley played the whole fourth quarter. Didn't score a point. Didn't matter. His defense, excellent. The ball movement, what he provide in terms of him being able to penetrate and to swing the ball from one side of the court to the other, it's just something that Fournier just doesn't quite do. So, and then defensively, it's a whole other issue, man. How do you feel about the IQ closing there in the last quarter there?
I think it was warranted. You see IQ starting to find a groove, and he was playing well up until then. He was moving the ball. I think we've had issues with him in previous games where he was kind of putting up some bad shots. But I think in the game against the Magic, he played a very good game, was rebounding. He was finding teammates, making good decisions, and his shot was falling as well. So I had no issues with Tibbs putting IQ out there at the end of the game, because you want somebody at that two position to give you both shooting and defense. And there's really only two guys on the roster right now that are going to give us that and fill that void on the starting unit. And that would be Quentin Grimes, who's unavailable, and Immanuel Quickley.
That's right. All right. Before we get to our next topic, which is, should IQ become the starter until Grimes returns? We'll discuss that. It could be also Cam. We'll discuss the benefits of that, the pluses and minuses of that. Before we get to that, I want to shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for joining us. I haven't even looked at the studio area over here. I don't even know what's going on. How we doing? Oh, yeah, we got like 80. You got 80 something in the chat. Awesome. It's great, man.
Nice,
I think we're all a little hype. We're all a little hype for this game tonight, which is good. We should be proud of our team. What we got? See if we got any interesting tweets here. Let's see. Yeah. Oh. Let's see here. I would start Cam. Interesting. Okay, we already got. Well, we'll wait for that one then. All right, we'll go for it. Then. Let's talk about. All right. So here we go. Should Quickley start? I pulled these. Okay, for one thing, just let's go back to the others. The tweet about Quickley here was from Fireside Knicks. They put an interesting article out about Quickley, and it says Quickley with the starters is tied for the Knicks' third most used lineup, yielding a 29 net rating over 12 minutes per NBA.com. In contrast, the starting lineup with Fournier has a negative 5.3 net rating in 44 minutes. Exactly. Now, these are the stats. I pulled them out. This is from NBA.com. You guys can just filter these yourself, too. You select lineups. And I only picked the four most used lineups, 44 minutes for the starters, 29 minutes for the bench. Is that correct? Yes.
Yep.
And then, according to this, 12 minutes for the Quickley with the starters. And then the last lineup down there is a mishmash. And I think that was against Memphis. That was used a lot because Mitch was in foul trouble.
Yep.
So that we saw Hartenstein. And that lineup was interesting because it did keep the Knicks in the game. Fournier, Randall, Hartenstein, Brunson, and Barrett at the end there. They played 12 minutes together. And they were the most productive lineup, according to this. A plus 57.1. So that's an argument for Fournier staying with the starters. And then the one above that.
That's just an argument for saying iHeart should close with the starters. That's
that could be another way to look at it. Totally. But we'll look at the top two there. It's pretty obvious. I mean, it's pretty plain to see that. Actually, not the top two. the top two are our two actual lineups. That's the starters, and then that's the bench. As you can see, just looking at that, the starters are a minus 5.3, and the bench is a plus 19.8. So that's a pretty huge swing. That's at least a 20. That's about a 25-point swing between the starters and the bench.
Do you remember what it was last year?
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked if it was something similar.
Last year, we had the worst starting five in the entire NBA for a long stretch, and I think we're like minus 14 something. I can pull those numbers up, but we were definitely double digits, like high double digits, like mid to high double digits, which was the worst starting unit in NBA. Now this is only 3 games, and it's often it's a little skewed because RJ has definitely been playing way below what he did last season. His shooting just hasn't been there at all. He finally made a few buckets on Monday, but I'm still concerned about it. But the thing to look at here is the Immanuel Quickley impact. Really, I mean, the guy, when he's on the court right there, you can see it in both the in the second lineup and in the third lineup. Tremendous. He was a plus 8. That's with the bench. And then when it's just quickly inserted with the starters, it becomes almost a 34-point swing when you remove Evan Fournier from the starting lineup. What's your feeling about this? These numbers here. Also, that unit has the quickest pace, 102.26, which is not a fast pace, but it's interesting to note that they're even faster than the bench unit,
which is good.
Yeah. What's your sense of this Fournier quick? Actually, you know what? Before we even get to that, I have some more juicy slides to show you guys. So this is from Cleaning the Glass. Look at the question mark ended up right above Fournier's head. That's pretty funny. So this is Fournier when he's on the court. That's how this is filtered. All his possessions. Now, remember that Cleaning the Glass scrubs out a garbage time. So there might be some possessions that are included at NBA.com that are not included here. So this is technically should be cleaner, less noise. And when given that, Evan Fournier overall, when he's on the court, is a plus player. He's a plus 5.3 differential. When he's on the court, the defense allows 114.2 points per 100 possessions. But when he's offensively, we score 119.5 points per 100 possessions for a plus 5.3. And those are very important numbers. Those are numbers that our coach Thibodeau really looks at. Very important to him. I wish I could make this even bigger. In fact, let me see if I can. Yes.
Well, yeah, you can put us on the bottom.
Yeah, we're gonna go off the screen here. All right, so here, we're just gonna talk this through. Can you see it better now, Quis?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, cool. So the starting unit here has 91 possessions. It's interesting they don't do it by minutes. They're a little bit lower than the average of that Fournier's on the court for points per possession, 116.5. They're a minus 6.6. So there it is. You can see that starting unit isn't quite clicking just yet. But Fournier, when he's out there with iHeart, when he's out there with even when he's out there with Mitch and Quickley instead of Brunson, he's a plus 38.4. Let's see what else. Brunson, Fournier, Barrett, Toppin, iHeart. It's only 10 possessions, but plus 80. It just goes to show you that I think a lot of this might be opponents. When you're facing a tougher lineup, you're just not going to have as much of a differential. Teams are going to score on you. See if I can put us down to the bottom. Oh, there we are. Oh, you can't see
us. We're just a bunch of eyebrows.
There we are. Hey, there we are now.
Like the neighbor from Boy Meets World. All you see is the top of our heads.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. Here we go. All right, here we go. Now, let's look at IQ. Here's IQ. IQ's on the court, 135 possessions, a plus 13.4 differential, 94 percentile. What was the 70 percentile when Fournier's on the court at any moment, at any time? Now we've played 3. Yeah, well, Memphis is an excellent team, but the other 2, they're suspect. But
Suspect.
they're suspect. I mean, that's putting it kindly, I would say.
Especially Orlando with the depleted squad. They didn't have Suggs, the Wagner brother, or Wagner, I guess is how you say it.
Let's see here. So, throw ourselves in here. All right. So as you can see, that first lineup is the second unit. That's the most possessions that Quickley's played. 57 with D Rose, with Reddish, Toppin, and Ihart. That's a plus 19.3. Then you put in Brunson and RJ on the court. Oh, then the next one is Quickley with the starters, a plus 25, 24 possessions. Huh. I wonder if that is what do you think that's more attributed to?
What, the bump with Quick on the spot?
Yeah, Quickley, like the Quickley bump. But look at the bump though. Him with the second unit. Obviously, the second unit is their second unit for a reason. But I think we have an excellent second unit. But look at that jump. It's an additional 6 points.
From 19.3 to 25?
Yeah. It really comes from defense.
It's also half as many possessions as well.
It is half as many, but it's a decent amount. 24 possessions is a decent amount. Let's see. They're
putting up what, 13 more points per
we put up 13 more points, but we give up 7 more points. The starting unit gives up 7 more points than the bench. The starting unit with IQ, to be clear.
Well, the starters also have Mitch out there on the court.
Yeah. But we have So we're with Quickley with the starters has Mitch out there, and
so that's why you probably see we give up less points with that.
We give up more.
Oh no, you're right. You're right. The bench is giving up less points.
The bench is giving up less points. I think a lot of it is because that bench unit is just Ihart is new.
They don't have Evan Fournier out there as the.
Ihart is new, but the other 4 have played together. Interesting there. So I love dissecting these numbers. But at the end of the day, you really got to look at the 2 main things here: the field goal percentage and the points per 100 possessions. The defense when IQ's on the court. When IQ's on the court, we hold defenses to a 39% field goal percentage, which is good enough for the best percentile in the NBA. Same for only 97 points allowed per 100 possessions. That's nice. The offense, it's at 110.4 points when IQ's out there, which is only good enough for a 31 percentile. So this is a story about defense here, Quis. Who would have thought that Quickley's defense?
He has that wingspan, and he definitely has the intensity to play lock-up defense. And when his shot's not falling, he got to play defense, or he's going to be sat at the end of the bench. So you can probably attribute some of that to Tibbs and some of his coaching. So, kudos to Tibbs for that, for keeping them engaged even when their shot's not falling. But I think Quick, you look at what he's able to do out there on the perimeter, be a pest, and, also when it comes to, solid defense, he's good at rebounding as well. So you're not going to see as many second chance opportunities when he's out there on the court because he's so good as a guard rebounder. So he does grab a lot of rebounds. So that could also be something that affects it.
Yeah, he does grab a lot of rebounds. And I think he probably understands. Look at the question mark on it's not right over Quickly said there. I had a different font and it just changed it for some reason when I put it in. Well, Quickly, his understanding of Thibodeau's defense, I'm sure, helps tremendously. But man, let's go back to here. So here, when Evan Fournier is on the floor, the defense allows 114.2 points, which is a 39th percentile, which is not good. It's more close towards the middle, but below. And we allow 54.4% field goal percentage, 38th percentile, which is also pretty low. But the offense is better. The offense is better overall. Points 119.5 compared to Quickley 110.4. Huh. And Fournier has been playing with RJ, who has been struggling offensively. Well, I think at this point, I think what this answers the question for me personally is let's just keep going the way this is, gather more information. But more data. If Quickley's shot starts coming around and his defense continues at the level he's been playing, then it might be and if Grimes doesn't come back in the interim, it might be time to look at, especially if we start dropping games that we shouldn't be dropping. Like tonight's game, it's going to be a close one, but we shouldn't be dropping. We're going to preview the next 6 games coming up pretty soon. Any last thoughts about this? Would you rather see Cam start?
Yeah, definitely would rather see Cam start, because then at least then you're moving RJ back to the 2, and I think life would be a lot easier for him at that position. And I want to see more of RJ and Cam together in a unit to see exactly what they can do together. You know, I'm seeing what the Celtics have over there with Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and I look at these 2 guys in the locker room, and I'm like, hey, if given the opportunity, maybe they could become, 85% of that, and that's still a damn good duo. So fingers crossed that's something I will be able to see. But I mean, an even bigger question to me is, what are these reporters doing trying to get to the bottom of this Grimes injury? Because it's just a sore foot keeping him out all this time.
Look, I've been nursing a sore foot since April.
Yeah, but how long have you had your foot though, George?
Yeah,
a lot longer than Grimes has had his. I've
had my foot a long time. It's just feet are weird, man. They just
that is true. That is true.
If you're, I mean, we don't know. They haven't told us it was any like a hairline fracture or anything
like that. Yeah,
all they said was sore.
But then he was in a walking boot. I'm like, you go in a walking boot, you have to have some kind of trauma usually before they go to throw you in a walking boot.
It makes me very suspicious. I wonder if possibly. I mean, I think the injury was worse than they let on at first,
or maybe everything too.
Or maybe they said the MRI was clean, right? But it's got to be something. Yeah. I mean, if it's plantar fasciitis,
then say that.
Then say it, because that's what I have. That's what I have, and it's a pain, man. Some days it's fine, and then some days you're like, why is it even hurting? It's like aching, it's throbbing. You just can't get out there. And I've struggled with it in the past. It sounds like that's what it is, but they're not saying. What would be the motivation to not actually tell us what the diagnosis is?
I mean, it's the Knicks. That's pretty much their MO. They don't tell us. They tell us as little as possible, pretty much. It's just weird that they would go and try to, take down images showing him in the boot and things like that. It's like this trying to keep the Knicks' biggest kept secret or something like that.
Yeah. The other thing could be they're just like, you know what? He came back a little too early in that preseason game and it backfired. He got some soreness. He's fine generally. I mean, there's no structural damage. So just let him rest as much as possible. And it gives us time to figure out how that log jam that we have is going to work itself out. Yeah.
It's funny, Go ahead, finish.
You were going to say?
No, I was going to say something a little bit different, but you finished your
I was going to say, it's allowed us to get a decent look at Cam. We were worried the last preseason game. We were like, this is it for Cam.
Yep.
Because Grimes played that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we were like, okay, it's over, but I'm sure Cam will get some burn tonight. Looks like he blew his opportunity. And then by Grimes sitting out, we've kind of seen
like a phoenix.
Yeah.
Well, at least he's trying to. He's got to put together more good games, but fingers crossed.
What does Cam have to do right now to take what he's done, to take all the positive stuff that he's done already, and to really your dream of the 85% version of Tatum and Brown with RJ and Cam, like what has to happen for him to do that?
Well, he's got to be a much better decision maker when it comes to his shot selection. I think that's something that still has to be worked on. You would hope it would be at a much better place than it is now, but it's really hard to get a good vibe on, is he just taking bad shots, or is he just trying to put shots up, knowing that his NBA life is is could be coming to an end if he continues to not play well here on the Knicks and isn't given an opportunity elsewhere to really shine. So to me, he'd have to put up better shots. He'd have to be a more willing passer, operate within the offense. I mean, we saw that beautiful pass he was able to swing around to Obi, who unfortunately missed. But he has the talent to make pinpoint passes with accuracy. And if he's more willing of a passer, I think we'll definitely see those assist numbers come up. But I think also I want to see him continue to be aggressive out there with the ball in his hands and be smart. And I think if we see him continue to attack the basket, good things happen. I think the jump shot is still somewhat shaky. It's not exactly reliable. That's how I would phrase it. But I think when he's attacking the basket, he's probably one of, if not the best, finishers, I think, when it comes to his being an acrobat and being able to knock down difficult layups. So I think that's something that he could definitely add to this starting lineup if he was inserted. And the defense is definitely going to be a step up from what we're getting from Fournier. We're seeing, sometimes he could be a little bit too opportunistic and gets caught out of position trying to jump a passing route and things like that. But yeah. I said a passing route, jump a passing lane, but I think you look at him and his physical tools are just something that we don't have anywhere else on this roster. 6'8", has a solid wingspan, and is extremely athletic. Even though he's out there looking a little nonchalant, he's extremely gifted as an athlete. So if you put all those things together and he can finally dial it in, I think he can definitely be on track to be a big time starter for the Knicks if given the opportunity.
Dude, I agree with you. I agree with everything you said. The shot selection. Yeah. But even all that being said, you know what he's shooting for the year?
For the year? It can't be good.
It's very good.
Is it? The field goal percentage? I know his 3-point percentage is solid. Was it like 7 for 12?
His 3-point percentage is 44.4%. But his overall field goal percentage is 55.6%. So here we are saying shot selection, but yet he's making his buckets. But that's also is kind of indicative of, well, sometimes he'll force an issue and then he'll get stuck under the basket and it's a fast break for the other team because he didn't find a better opportunity, make a better decision. But the man is making his buckets. He's putting up 9 shots a game, which is up there.
Even that seems like a lot, right?
Yeah, 9 shots
I never even realized he was putting up 9 shots a game.
It's the 4th most behind the big 3. Cam is putting up the most shots, tied with Fournier. Fournier's only shooting 33.3% overall, and then 36.6%.
And Tip says we need shooting, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which is why the whole discussion, which is why I was like, hey, should we just start IQ? Now, if I had said start, I had already said had so many thumbnails about Cam. I was like, you know what? Let's go with IQ.
Let's switch it up.
Yeah, switch it up. Julius Randle's shooting 51% overall field goal. Nice. RJ struggling 34.6%. He's majorly struggling. But the guy who's not struggling at all is Obi Toppin. 57.1% overall. Even though his 3-point shooting he's at 33%. He's at 33%, which reaches the plausible neighborhood. He'll get it up there higher. But man, Cam is shooting the lights out. Let me pull up another stat here. Let me find out this other stat about Cam here. So far, Cam, I believe if he continues doing what he's been doing, he has earned himself a role in this rotation when Grimes returns.
So you kicking Fournier out?
Well, when you look at D Rose playing about
10 to 15
12 to 15 minutes. I was going to say 10 to 14 or whatever in that. Definitely 14 or below he's playing. And if you limit Fournier's minutes to 18 or so, there's going to be extra minutes. Cam can pick up maybe 10 minutes a game there in a deep rotation. It's possible. There's possible some nights that D Rose doesn't play at all.
I don't know about not playing at all. Unless it's like a rest night or a rest
back to back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In those situations. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. All right. Net ratings. As we already talked about, Obi Toppin being number 1 on the team. Cam Reddish is number 6 on the team with a 10.8. Now the whole team is doing fantastic overall in net rating.
Yeah, so we've been beating up on the Pistons and the Magic, as we should.
Beating up on these bastards.
You made me think of House of the Dragons.
Yeah. Beat them up. So this was a stat that card that I put up for the post game the other night, but I had some of the stats were a little off. Mm-hmm. So I cleaned it up. But this was as of the 24th. So in terms of net rating overall, the Knicks were 4th in the entire NBA. That's the bottom one in the middle column. We were at 10.7, so we were 4th overall. So of course we're going to have a lot of players. We have 7 players with a 10 point something net rating or better, which is awesome. Brunson at 10.3, Cam Reddish at 10.8, Derrick Rose at 14.2, RJ Barrett 15.2, Immanuel Quickley 16.1, Isaiah Hartenstein 18.3, and an Obi Toppin 26.2. Julius Randle was in the single digit net rating group at a 5.7, Fournier 5.1, and the man with the lowest positive net rating of the rotation was Mitch with a plus 2.8. That's interesting there. So here, this was interesting. Opponents' 3-point percentage. Knicks are number 2 in allowing the lowest percentage. In overall field goal percentage, they're number 2 behind the Bucks. We're playing, I believe Charlotte, I believe, is number 1 in the lowest 3-point percentage, or they're up there. And I don't know if they're still number 1. We are, look at that assist to turnover ratio.
That's how when you got Jalen Brunson running that point.
Yeah. And also IQ doesn't really turn the ball over, even though he had 2 weird turnovers the last game. He doesn't generally turn the ball over that much. So now the guys that are handling the ball the most, they don't turn the ball over that much. So hence
even Randall hasn't been turning over the ball crazy.
I know he's been better. He had one time, I think it was in that third game, he like dribbled the ball off his foot as he was turning through the lane. It was so old school, no handle Randall.
Yeah.
And you saw him like he was pissed at himself. And that is a big difference because in the previous seasons, he'd get angry, but he'd find something external to be angry about. Oh, someone pushed me, or why weren't you in the corner? I can see you, or whatever. Like this time, it's frustration, and it came with a smile. It was frustrated and with a smile. It was all at himself. That's a huge difference.
Facts.
Man,
that's somebody buying in, and that's exactly what we need from Julius Randle if he's going to be one of the best, one of the top 2, top 3 players on this team this season.
Absolutely. And what's great is that when the other players see him buying in, everyone starts wanting to get on the same page. Everyone starts feeling good about what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what building a winning culture is all about. Having everybody buy in and having everybody understand that, when you do mess up, it's not on anybody else. It's on you. You got to step up, man up, and then just make adjustments. Like, everybody makes mistakes. It's understandable. It's just how you respond to those errors or those mistakes that really define you as a player.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you're playing that way, you are inducing, you're basically, you're encouraging ball movement. Because if you're moving the ball, other guys aren't going to hold the ball. They're like, hey, if the number 1 guy right now, he's the way he's playing, he's like our number 1, isn't pounding the ball in and trying to ISO the hell out of the situation, we can't either. Got to keep that ball moving. And we saw some plays, man, that last game.
Yep. Because if Julius Randle's passing the ball, that you have the opportunity of getting it back. So there's no need for you to dribble the air out the ball. You have trust in your teammates. You give it up, and hopefully they'll find you when you're open.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, as a team overall, we're struggling from the 3-point line. The beauty is points in the paint, 60.7. We're number 2 in the entire NBA. So that helps when we're not hitting the threes. We're taking care of business right there. We're getting, well, with Mitch, we always get a lot of offensive rebounds.
Yeah. And that's where he scores all his points pretty much in the paint. And then you got, Randall. He does knock down the three and have a mid-range game, but for the most part, he's getting a lot of bully buckets in the paint. You got Brunson. He's a guy that can get you a lot of points in the paint with his craftiness, whether that be in the post or off drives. And then you got RJ, for the first 3 games, him getting to the basket was pretty much his only source of offense. So you can understand why we were that high in points in the paint.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the ratings here, the offensive rating, which is the three number categories in the middle row, the bottom 3. Offensive rating 115.7, 8th best. Defensive rating 104.9, 6th best. Net rating 10.7, 4th best. If we stay anywhere near this neighborhood all season long, we'll be in the playoffs.
Well, hopefully we can play the Pistons and the Magic all season long. We do that. We got a pretty good chance.
Oh, yeah. The relative numbers are going to change here, but the actual net rating, we just got to keep that positive. If we end up in the top 10, if we are in the top 10 of any of these categories, I'll be happy. And I think it's doable for this team, at least for the defense. I think for sure, yeah.
All right. Defense is going to be our staple. That's what I came in expecting. Now, at least the defense was going to be on point. I know people are going to have some weak links here and there with, Fournier and things like that. And, I didn't know how Brunson was going to perform defensively. But for the most part, we've been solid. Tibbs is known for his defense. And the minute the defense starts to slip, at that point, it's like, why do we even have Tibbs? So defense got to be on point. That's his saving grace.
Absolutely. All right, before we get to the next part where we're going to preview the next 6 games, I want to just shout out to the chat. You guys, thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate all the support here on the Knicks-Verse. And again, going to try and have all these live pregame shows before every game, but scheduling sometimes doesn't allow it for us, for either of us.
Yep, but calls, you got to answer.
Yes, absolutely. But you should definitely check out the Sunday stream on Sports Vibes TV.
Yep.
Keys. Yeah.
Yep, you guys can tune in. I'll be live again with Foxy. George, you never responded. You're gonna be with us on Sunday because we play. Let me know. You can pull up. We'll start 4:30, hour and a half. Chop it up. Have some fun. All right, bet. Cool. So now you guys heard it here first. Sunday stream. It'll be myself, Foxy, and George, the holy trifecta, chopping it up, leading you guys into the game. So make sure you pulled up.
Absolutely awesome. Yeah, and hit that thumbs up button for it, guys. All right, we got like 130 or something in the chat.
That's Run awesome. It up.
Let's go. Man, you think we're gonna win tonight?
Oh, we better win. No Melo.
No Melo. Here, let me
just
get
like the Magic and
updates here. If where's our guy? We
survey. We survey 100 peoples.
He's always on it with the starting lineups and stuff. Let's see here. Ian Begley tweeted this out, which is interesting. Ex-New York Knicks guard Dennis Smith Jr. enters the Charlotte New York Knicks game, averaging 13.3 points on 57% shooting. Good for him, man.
Yeah, kudos to him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm happy he got through that tough time. He always had the ability. It seems to be finally coming together for him. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, some guys with his size and stature typically don't get too many opportunities, and he's been bouncing around the league, and hopefully he's found a home for himself in Charlotte. I mean, we've seen other diminutive point guards with good athleticism excel in Charlotte and Kimba, so maybe he can find a home there.
Absolutely. According to Zach Braziller from New York Post, he tweeted this out that Tom Thibodeau said Quentin Grimes is getting better, still not cleared yet to fully practice.
Crazy, he's not even practicing. So what has it been, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Because the Knicks didn't play after the first 2 games. We didn't play for like a week.
Yeah, so that was Friday, September. No, what am I talking about? That was October. That was the last game, the last preseason game.
That's a good question.
Whenever that
We
was,
talk
it
about
was.
preseason.
Yeah, that's because that's the last game Grimes played.
I know. I'm messing with you.
It was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago today was the last time Grimes. So it has been. It's been 2 weeks since Grimes played. So I think he's out at least another 2 weeks. Because if he's not even practicing, I mean,
yeah, you got to ramp up. Got to get conditioned. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cam, you heard that? You got 2 weeks, bro.
2 more weeks.
Send Evan Fournier's ass to the bench.
I think it's a good thing because we know what Grimes, when healthy, what he can do. I just hope that because I'm hearing it out there that a lot of people think, oh, is this a sign of things to come? Is Grimes going to be an injury-prone guy? Yeah.
Well, this is a tough way to start your career. First, he had the injury to his knee. Now he's having his injury to his foot, and you look at a guy who's a solid athlete, but he's not, an elite athlete. So you don't want him to start having these lower body injuries when we're relying on him to guard some of these quicker, shiftier players in the league. So hopefully this is just, something that just happened, not really something that's, I would say in medical terms, acute, and not something that's going to be chronic. And, if that's the case, then you just have to nurse him back to health, and then he'll be good to go.
I hope so too, man. Really hope so. We did have a stat, an update here. Tommy Beard tweeted out, both Terry Rozier, ankle, and Cody Martin, quad, have been ruled out for tonight.
Oh, are they tanking? They got to be tanking at this point.
I don't think they're tanking.
I'm messing with you.
I mean, just by looking at how they've been playing, if they're tanking, oh, you mean they're tanking the way Utah's tanking?
Right? Taking in reverse. That's what we call it.
Hey, but what about Portland?
Yeah, Portland's crazy.
Didn't I tell you? Was it with you or with Fox? I can't remember. I was like, I think my surprise team is going to be Portland.
Probably.
I think it was you because you were like,
well, I'm looking at you like you crazy.
I was like, oh, did your camera freeze? You were like, Portland? Yeah. Portland, man. Former Knick Dennis Smith Jr. will make another start at point guard for the Hornets. DSJ had 18.6 assists and 3 steals in Charlotte's blowout victory over the Atlanta Hawks. And you know how much we enjoy any team that beats the Hawks here on the Knicks-Verse.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's fantastic. But Quentin Grimes is ruled out. All right. Speaking of that, let's get to it, my friend. Let's get to it. Let's start talking the game that's coming up.
Let's get right into
Knicks next 6. It's going to be a segment we're going to do from now on. We're going to look at every 6 games. The next 6 games. The next one right now is today's game. The Hornets, 2-1, both of us. Both teams are 2-1. And as you can see, the Hornets did beat the Hawks, which, I'm not a fan of the Hawks themselves, but they're obviously a quality team, a high-quality team. And some people have picked them to even finish above the Knicks. What is so we already kind of like semi-broke this game down a little bit, but what's something that you're looking for tonight? Like, what do the Knicks have to do tonight to continue their little 2-game winning streak?
Well, I'm looking to see how RJ can perform. I wasn't too thrilled about his performance in the last game against the Magic, even though he did turn it on and still got his 20 points. It just wasn't encouraging to me, especially as someone that has a lot of belief in what RJ can do and what he can be in this league. So I want to see him come out and, be a big piece to us winning. They don't have Miles Bridges. He had some good games against us last season. So I think this year you see that absence, and RJ should be able to feast. And then you look at Brunson. Can he continue to be Mr. Reliable at that point guard position? I'm loving everything I've seen from him so far in the first 3 games. No LaMelo, and I wouldn't say DSJ is a lockup defender or anything of that nature. And we see how Jalen Brunson can bully guards bigger, that forget guards. I saw him bully Miles Turner at one point. I forgot in the preseason. So he should be able to feast on DSJ at will. So I want to see how those two are gonna perform, and of course, I want to see how Cam is gonna come out. We saw Quick actually look for him with that second unit as soon as they got into the game. So will we see some more of it? Because I feel like once Cam gets into a groove early, I think you start to see him be on the ball defensively from jump and just really, dialed in. And I think once you have a guy like that, you feed him the ball a little bit, get him engaged. I think it's a lot easier to have him carry that type of involvement or that type of engagement throughout the remaining portion of the game. So those are the three things I'm probably looking for, or three players I'm keeping an eye out on.
Yeah, man. Also, do you think? I mean, I guess who's going to be guarding RJ? I guess it'll be Hayward.
Hayward probably, yeah.
So we got Hayward, we got Oubre, that guy Nick Richards, who I when I saw him in college, I was like, yeah, he could be an interesting,
he could be
somebody, little like an interesting second string center. He's delivering. He's delivering definitely right now. PJ Washington still out there, but I doubt he'll have much time on RJ. It looks like, I mean, it's not like Hayward's a defensive stalwart, so RJ should have some freedom here, some ability. He'll have this. This is the kind of game that RJ should be able to break through.
Yeah,
I think for him, it's like when he misses that first 3-point shot, like things start changing. He needs to hit that first one.
I don't know if it's the first one or the second and the third. Maybe when he misses, see him start to press.
when he misses that 8th 3-point shot.
And you always know it's going to be a bad shooting
something night just dies in all of us.
Because he'll put the shot up with the left, and then when he breaks it, he goes, I'm like, yeah, RJ, it's one of those nights, man. Get to the paint.
Yeah, don't worry. We're going as well here.
Yeah.
Well, the field, the situation, the scenario is there for RJ to beast out today. At least to kind of try and break through, especially with no.
Same thing with Mitch too, right? Because Plumlee's the one that Mitch cooked last season, right off the dribble.
Yep,
took him off the dribble and threw it down.
Yep.
So yes, I want to see what Mitch can do.
Hey, but you know what? This guy Richards, he's averaging 4.7 offensive rebounds and 4.3 defensive rebounds. He's averaging 9 rebounds per game. So he's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see him go up against Mitch. How big is Richards? 7 feet, 245 pounds. So it's a little shorter than Mitch, but a little bigger, right?
A little stockier.
So D's World of Hoops says Oubre might be guarding RJ, and Hayward might be guarding Fournier. I could see that.
It would make sense.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Put the two slow-footed people together.
Yeah. I was going to say something else, but I was like,
I know where you were going with that one too. You could probably get away with it. I can't.
Hey. Last year I would have said it. Oh man. So either way, I mean, no one on that team can guard Julius Randle if he keeps playing this way. So we should be able to exploit that. And can Dennis Smith Jr. really bother Brunson enough?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
He's going to just post him up over and over.
Yeah. So this is it. It's ready. If this game Knicks should win, I predict a 10-point victory.
So a comfortable W.
A comfortable W. And it may go the same way as the past few games. They come out, they look okay, but the first quarter ends and we're kind of almost tied. Maybe it's like a 2-3 point lead, and then that second quarter, we build a lead, and then it kind of dwindles back down. And we go into the half, either down 1 or 2, up 1 or 2. Then that third quarter comes out, and boom, we just put the pedal to the metal, create a big lead, and then just kind of coast the rest of the way. Let's hope that's how it goes.
Second unit run them off the court. Very few teams can keep up with our second unit, both in talent and also in the pace of play.
Absolutely. Shout out to the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for us, guys. We got 120 something in the chat. That's awesome. It's great you guys for joining us. Yeah. Shout out to Tom Herrera. Good to see you, brother. D's World of Hoops. Thanks for your comments there. Willian. Miles Bridges is out. Yes, he is.
I got nervous for a second. I thought that was a Nets logo. I was about to say, get him out of here. But it's the Raiders. It's all good. I don't care about the Raiders.
Yeah, Miles did eat Julius's lunch. They had like a whole thing going last season.
Yeah.
And I like William also comes back with RJ going 40 tonight. I could easily see him do that. Want to make a statement. Yeah. All right, let's talk about the bigger game. I mean, tonight's game is a very good test for this team, but like we both agree, we should win this one. But the next game, Friday, against the Milwaukee Bucks, what's going to happen, man? We're going to win that one?
I don't think so. I think we'll be competitive. I think we'll be competitive in most games, but even without Middleton, I believe Middleton still isn't playing for them at the moment. So I don't think so.
Middleton's not playing. The Bucks have only played 2 games all season. Tonight they play.
Feel bad for the Bucks fans.
Yeah. They play the Nets tonight in Milwaukee. So
they'll probably run them off the court.
So they'll be 3-0 when we play them on Friday, and we'll be 3-1. I mean, Giannis is averaging 32.5 points.
Hey, you over here jinxing stuff. Knock on some wood, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I got knocking on wood here.
I don't know if everybody heard that, but I did.
Totally. Let's see. How do we match up that one? I got Bruce Lopez, Giannis, Drew, Bobby Portis, Grayson Allen. That kid Nora can shoot.
Mm-hmm.
What's he averaging? What's he averaging 3-point shots? Nora is 60%. God. That's gonna be a tough game. I gotta say, I think but the thing is, the game's at the Garden, so that does help. Friday night, Knicks do seem to love Friday
playing
night.
at the Garden helps as much as it hurts because everybody's stepping their game up to play in the Garden. You know how many NBA players want to have that same experience that Trae Young has when he's the villain of MSG? I think
every one of them.
Yeah. So it don't really help us. I mean, it helps us in a way because the fans are there to help pick up the players and help try to will them to a victory. But the same way it picks up, our guys, it also picks up some of the.
Sorry. This says away game. Even though they had the Knicks below on here.
Yeah.
Oh, it says away. Okay, good. I'm glad it kept that in. So it's an away game. So that makes it even harder. I think there's a chance we lose that game. So the next 2, I think we're going to go 1-1. Let's go to the next 4 after that Bucks game. We have the Cavaliers in Cleveland on Sunday.
That'll be a big game.
The eve before Halloween. So I mean, that's going to be wild, that one. And then on Wednesday, at home against the Hawks. And then Friday, away in Philadelphia against the Sixers. And then we come back home the following Saturday, November 5th, to end the 6-game stretch. The Knicks against the Celtics playing at MSG, the rematch of that big game from last year. And RJ hit that humongous bank 3.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at the
George, you're funny though. We're going back to the Cavaliers. I just wanted to make sure because I'm like, you mentioned the Cavaliers and all you're going to discuss is Halloween. I'm like,
no, we're gonna go back.
Okay, I'm like, cool.
We're gonna go back. Let's go. Let's talk. Cavs Knicks.
So yeah, this will be interesting. Everybody will be up for this one. It'll be Donovan Mitchell's first game against the Knicks after the botched trade debacle. Mm-hmm. And he's been killing. What did he have? Over 30 points in his first 3 games. And they were 2-1. They're still 2-1. And I think it'll be an interesting matchup. They don't have Garland. He got the back of his eyelid scratched, right? So
Oh
he
yeah,
probably
that's right.
won't be available.
You think
And
by then he won't?
it depends. I don't know.
Eyes heal pretty quick.
Oh yeah, true. And then they'll throw glasses on over it or
Yeah,
goggles.
they
But
put those
it all
drops.
depends on how he responds, though. If there was any damage to the eye, things like
Yeah,
that. So we see.
we'll
But
see.
hopefully, fingers crossed, he won't be available. I didn't get a timetable. Did you hear a timetable when he?
I didn't hear one.
Uh,
I mean, Donovan is averaging 33.3 points per game and 7 assists.
Yep.
That's got to be a career high, 7 assists for him.
So, George, seeing how Donovan has played to start this season, would you go back and change anything from the trade? Would you go through with it?
Would I go through with it if it meant giving up RJ, Obi, Grimes, or IQ? I would give up 2 of those 4 plus the 4 picks that they wanted. And then whatever else we can throw in there. But I mentioned, I think Leon screwed up by not picking a player in this year's draft that could have also been part of that
Included
package.
in that deal.
Yeah, like the way that
But
the Timberwolves and Cavaliers both did. They both included
yep.
their 22nd.
Yeah,
So
Kessler.
I think we were already handcuffed when that happened. Because we could only, we had on the 4 unprotected, and we were like, we can't give up all 4 of our unprotected, but we could have given up 3.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The thing is, I don't know if we could even do that because we'd have to give up the pick in order to get Brunson. In order to free a cap space.
The thing is, I looked at it again. We didn't have to. There were other ways to do it. It was just it kind of killed 2 birds in 1 stone for them. Like, wow, we get off salary and we get on the path to accumulate more picks, but they were highly protected picks that didn't have much value for
very little value.
Yeah.
As soon as we had that trade, I'm looking at it. I'm like, they gave us a bunch of 2nd round picks. What's going on here?
Yeah. I mean, the thing about those protected picks, especially next season's, the next draft, the 2023 draft, they'll increase in value as we get closer to that draft. Right now, they're at the lowest value, or they were during the summer, because they were like, But as we get closer, we start seeing the talent pool that will be available for the draft. Could you find an interesting player at the 17th, 18th pick? Sometimes, or even like in the high, maybe like 13th, 12th pick or whatever. But right now, they just don't have as much value. Hopefully, they'll increase in value. I was on record. I would have done it, but you could not give up both RJ and Obi in that trade. That was my feeling. How about you? Would you do it?
I'd do it, but I wouldn't do it with RJ involved. One of those other 3. Quick, Obi, Grimes, and picks.
But it would have to be 2 of the other 3.
I don't care. Quick,
Okay.
Obi,
So
Grimes, one of those 3. They ship up. It ain't no different from what you said, except I would keep RJ off the table.
Mm-hmm.
Any one of those 2. Or would you do 3? And you said 2, right?
I said 2.
Yeah.
That's where it starts hurting.
Quick,
3.
RJ Obi, RJ Grimes, or any other pairing of the 2. So yeah, I'd do 2 of them, but I wouldn't include RJ. I want to see how Donovan Mitchell and RJ would have looked together.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the one thing though about Donovan is, I mean, he's young. So it's not like in the years past where we did a trade like that for a 29-year-old, or 28-year-old. I mean, those 3 years do help a lot. Those are his prime years.
Yep.
His less expensive, his quote less expensive years. So it definitely, it does hurt a little bit. But are we going to win this game? Are we going to beat them? Yeah, no, the Cavs.
The Cavs?
Yeah. It's away.
That'll be difficult because Donovan's going to be up for that game just to kind of show, hey, this is what you guys could have had. But unfortunately, I'm in Cleveland. So I think the Cavs probably win that game. I think they're more talented. Even without Garland, you look at some of their young guys, Mobley, Jared Allen. I think the Cavs will have enough. to win the game. We'll be competitive. Like I said, I don't see this as being like seasons past where we're getting run up the court or we're having monumental collapse. I think it'll be a solid, tough fight, but I think at the end the Cavaliers are going to come out on top.
I want to disagree with you, but I can't.
I'm the voice of reason.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to put that Cavs game down as we predict it to be a loss.
Yeah.
The next one is against the Hawks. I think we're going to win that game, especially at the Garden. I think we're going to win it. I think the style that we're playing is a very difficult style for the Hawks to compete with. And we play much better defense than the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
So right there. And I think Mitch is gonna eat some Capella barbecue, man. He's gonna eat some barbecue that night.
He's gonna feast.
He's gonna feast. So I'm putting that down as a win. Then we got Friday, November 4th. We go to Philadelphia. They're 1-3 at the time. Right now, at that time, who knows what they'll be.
Mm-hmm.
They may be a very desperate team. I feel like we kept getting so close last year to beating the Sixers, and now Harden's not there. Simmons is what he is. I think that's a toss-up game. I think we can win that game.
Yeah, they're struggling. The 76ers are struggling to start the season. So I think it's a game we can be competitive. I look at these 4 games. Well, let me not jump ahead and get into the Celtics, but I look at these 3 games, and I think the Knicks have to win at least one, but are in a position to win 2 of them. And I think the Hawks and the 76ers are probably better opportunities to win than the Cavaliers. So if I had to pick 2 out of these 4 for us to definitely come out with a win, I think the best position would be against the Hawks, where we match up a little bit better, and then against the 76ers, who are still trying to figure themselves out, find out who they are as a team. We saw in the preseason, there were conversations between Harden and Doc, just trying to find out how they can get all these pieces to mix. And I think it'll take a little bit more time, and hopefully we'll catch them at a moment where they're still, having some difficulties trying to gel.
Yeah, I think we're going to win that game for exactly the reasons you just said, and also, I think Randall's got some unfinished business down there in Philadelphia. Yeah. So right now we're at 3-2 for the next 6 games. The final game of these next 6 is the Knicks Celtics. Now we're playing at MSG. The Celtics have been playing very, very well. I mean, they're playing better. They're almost playing better than they were last season. Right now. That's going to be tricky, Quis.
Yeah, that's going to be a very difficult one. That'll probably be the most difficult of the 4. So hopefully we got 2 wins headed into that one. And, as a fan, I can be a little bit more lax instead of trying to, make sure we beat the Celtics at all costs. I can at least go in there with a level head and say, all right, we won 2 of the first 3. We are unable to beat the Celtics in this one. You can understand.
Yeah, I could understand it. I'm going to go out on a limb here. If this Knicks team continues playing and evolving the way they have been, and if we do, let's say we have a good competitive game on Sunday before Halloween against the Cavs, and we still lose it, but it's a good competitive game, and we top the Hawks, we managed to beat the Sixers, we're on a nice 2-game roll. It means that the team is playing still connected, and they're evolving, they're improving. I think there's a chance we can steal that game, because there's something between the Celtics, that Celtics squad, and this Knicks squad. I don't know if it's the Duke rival, the Dukiness of it, and also, there's no Time Lord. And what are they going to do? How are they going to deal with Mitch? How are they going to deal with Hartenstein?
Yep.
How are they going to deal with RJ driving? We're a team that drives to the hoop. How are they going to deal with Brunson? Brunson maybe, because they got some guys they can put on. They got Smart and stuff.
Smart, yeah.
Yeah, but we have 3 guys. And then Fournier. That could be the game where Fournier explodes. Remember, every time he sees green, he plays well. I think we could steal this game. I think we could steal that game. Now, if we don't, we either finish 3-3, or if we steal that game, we finish 4-2 in the next 6 games.
I mean, this stretch is going to tell us a lot about the team because so far we've been beating the brakes off of lesser competition. So it's going to be a real step up.
It is. It's why it's a good test. That's why I wanted to look at these next games.
Yeah, because all 4 of these teams will be in the playoffs. Yeah. You can book that.
Yes, all 4 of these will be in the playoffs for sure. So you feel like we may not beat the Celtics there?
Yeah, it might be tough.
All right.
And, you also have to look. It's the second night of a back-to-back. So it'll be somewhat difficult.
It will be. It will be, definitely. But the thing is, we're just going from Philly to New York.
But I agree. New York to New York. So we'll be all right with that. But that's enough in itself, staying in New York overnight and having to wake up next day to play.
Yeah. Well, so we got it there. I mean, I see Quis' total logic. I think a 3-3 is very plausible for this next 6 games. I'm going to side with a 4-2. I think we could win that last game there, and the Knicks could be in a very sweet position at that point. Man, if we go 4-2, that means we'll be 6-3 for the season at that point. That's a nice
hell
number.
Of a start.
Yeah, hell of a start. 9. Hey, 5-4 is a hell of a start, considering like this stretch of games. Beautiful, love it. All right, so there we go. That's our preview of the next 6 games. Whew! What do we got? We got about 100 people in the chat. That's awesome. The game's about to start. I think it's
100.
100. Isn't it starting right now? Let's see here.
I gotta pull up the app.
Get the pregame show going here. Quis, the cough lingering there.
Right?
Huh?
Yeah, it's still here. It's going away, but
hey, but you know what? You've recovered pretty quick.
Yeah. I don't usually get sick. It's typically just these head colds every 2-3 years.
Every 2-3, man. I have no sympathy for you then. No sympathy whatsoever. Oh man. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank Quis, man. You want to do your goodbyes?
Oh, well, thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate the support. I see you guys in chat still. Kerry Cooper, D World the Hoops, Sticks 100 the game. We appreciate all your support. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be live again Friday here on Into the Knicks-Verse, correct, George?
Yes.
Yep. And then on Sunday, we'll be live on Sports Vibes TV. Foxy, George, and myself will be all together talking about the very big matchup against the Cavaliers. So make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel and also subscribe to Into the Knicks-Verse. That way you don't miss any of the pre-games.
Absolutely. It's awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been a lot of fun chopping it up. Quis, thank you, man, for stopping in once again. It looked a little scary there for a moment. We weren't going to be able to pull it together, but we did. So glad we did. And so you guys definitely subscribe. Go to the Knicks merch store, get your hats, get your shirts. We got even beanies in. Finally got some beanies. And we will see you around the Knicks-Verse.